Sit up straight, fix your posture, or you rolled your ankle, just rest that. There are a lot of myths in physiotherapy, so I think a lot of it needs debunking. Let's get started. Number 1, posture and pain. Posture has to be one of the most overrated things when it comes to treating pain at home. Posture rehab tends to include stuff like telling people to sit up straight when they're sitting at a desk, or inventing diseases that don't exist like text neck, and demonizing features like anterior pelvic tilt. There have been a grand total of 0 reliable studies that have linked posture to pain. For most people, posture just generally isn't that much of an issue. If you were to sit in the perfect posture for 8 hours a day versus if you were to slump down for 8 hours a day, you'd be in pain at the end of both of those days. The type of posture you keep isn't really that important. It's varying your posture that's the crucial bit. The cheesy phrase now is your best posture is your next posture, because as humans, we are designed to move and we like to move. Maybe one second you need to sit upright, maybe the next you need to slump down, maybe you need to cross your legs over, lean left, lean right. The main treatment for if you're getting pain while you're sitting down on your arse all day is to stop sitting down on your arse all day. Get up out of the chair, start moving. It's the same thing when it comes to text neck. It's being stuck in this position for hours on end that causes you a little bit of bother. If you were on your back lying down with your arm up to the ceiling, your arm would be killing you after a while. So you have to move, you have to get stuff moving. And the stuff of like demonizing people for having an anterior pelvic tilt, that is a feature. Like having blue eyes or brown hair is a feature. It's not necessarily something that needs to be fixed, and it's very likely not the source of your pain. Just like having blue eyes probably doesn't lead to having back pain. Oh my sweet Jesus, it's raining sideways. Number 2, slipped/bulging discs. Discs don't slip. Language is really important when it comes to physio. That creates the image of fragility, which, like, you're not a slot machine shooting coins out of your back. Your discs aren't like that. There's all these analogies of how your discs are like jam donuts, and those like spinal models where you press down on them and the disc flies out the back. Discs are a lot tougher than that. They're more like tires with like chewing gum in the middle. They're not like jam donuts, you know, you can't just squish them down and everything comes out the back. And this might be surprising, but just like posture, bulging discs aren't always the cause of pain. Look at this study. This is healthy, pain-free subjects. They were just sent for MRIs, and then they just noted down what they saw disc bulge-wise, and look at the amount of people that have a bulging disc in their neck, but they have absolutely no pain with them. That's 80% of people by the time you're in your 30s, so very likely if you're watching this video, you probably have a bulging disc in your neck or somewhere else in your spine. But again, you're probably not in pain with it. And I bet you didn't even know that that was there. But don't worry, it's not an issue. I have an entire video about what actually causes back pain and everything you need to know about it, so I'll link that in the corner or probably in the description. Number 3, rest and ice. You've probably rolled your ankle or pulled your hamstring or something like that, and you've just been told,
just rest it for a couple of weeks and just ice it, be grand.
Resting altogether is not really best practice, and it can actually delay your recovery quite a lot. Tissues need a really nice environment to encourage healing, and if that environment is an inflammatory soup that isn't really being cleared out by exercise, if you're not really moving the injured body part as well, tissues can heal and scar in shortened positions, making them stiffer down the line. And ice isn't necessarily going to speed this process up at all, really. Cold from the ice doesn't really penetrate deep enough into the tissue to cause any serious metabolic changes. It's nice to use, but mainly as pain relief. It just numbs the area for a little bit so that you can start moving it again. Of course, we can't just go straight back into match play or anything like that. The phrase now is relative rest. And that's pretty much just deloading your activities to a level that you can tolerate symptom-wise. But do keep moving. Number 4, stretching before exercise. You see it all the time. I still see it loads. Clubs around the country before a match, they do a really half-arse warm-up, and then they spend most of the time on the grounds doing these kind of, static kind of stretches, whatever. That's really not enough to prevent injury during a game. And some studies found that static stretching before an exercise actually hinders your performance as well. What's much better is a dynamic warm-up. Dynamic stretches like heels up, knees up, that kind of stuff. A very gradual increase in the intensity until you're actually doing the exercise that you're planning on doing. A great rule of thumb for warming up for any exercise really is do that exercise, but just a little bit less intense and gradually build up. Save your static stretching for after the exercise session. That will help reduce soreness after the exercise and improve your mobility, which in turn leads to lower injury risk. And last but not least, do you need a doctor's referral to see a physio? Absolutely not. In many countries, you can book directly in with a physio. You can book in with me if you want at physiohub.ie. That'll be in the description. In some cases, you are much better off just booking directly in with a physio. Skip the middleman. Good GP is probably just going to refer you to physio anyway. Especially for stuff like injuries or back pain or knee pain, hip pain, and a heap of other stuff. You are just better off going straight to the physio. Now, which myth surprised you most there? Make sure to leave a like if you believed any of them beforehand. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.